Now, any country that care about their national security is not going to allow a plane from another nation just to show up and they actually take the people in. They didn't call this nation. They didn't say anything. Now, this nation I'm talking about, who's receiving people, is South Africa. South Africa recently had 160 Palestinians just show up at OR Tambo Airport. They didn't call them. They didn't say they sent them, nothing. They didn't know anything. They just showed up. Now, I want you to hear what the president has to say about this, but let's have a conversation because this really don't make any sense for South Africa.
Yesterday, we had a plane of 160, we're carrying 160 Palestinians landing at OR Tambo. And these are people from Gaza who somehow mysteriously were put on a plane that passed by Nairobi and came here. And I said, we cannot turn them back. Even though they do not have the necessary documents and papers, these are people from a strife-torn, a war-torn country. And out of compassion, out of empathy, we must receive them.
Here's the thing. That is the biggest national security blunder I've ever heard in my life. You take a plane of 160 Palestinians and bring them to South Africa. Now, for 12 hours, y'all kept them on the tarmac, and then you decided to go on and let them into the country. Why would you do that, sir? You don't know who these people are. You don't know if they're Hamas. You don't know anything. And yet you letting these people into the country. This is the issue about letting them into the country. You have a 31%, I made sure to check, 31% unemployment. It was 33, but it came down to 31%, which it comes out to 8 million South Africans who are jobless. Why are you going to bring in people that you don't even know where they come from? Now, Israel is the one that put them on a plane and sent them. They tried to go to Nairobi. Nairobi said, "No, you're not staying here." And then they went on, come on down to South Africa. You understand? So Israel can just basically send people to your country and you take them. When have the continent of Africa has been a dumping ground for European nation? When I say European, I'm talking about white. I don't get into nobody's religion because Trump started that mess about dumping immigrants he don't want here into the African continent. He dumping them in Ghana. He's dumping them in Eswatini. They say he dumped in Sudan. He's just dumping people in the African continent that's not even from those nations, right? So I guess Israel say, you know what, I'm going to take a page out of Trump's book and I'm going to send these Palestinians over here. Since they like them, I'm going to send them. Now, how do black South Africans feel about their national security not knowing who these people are? I'm a firm believer of bringing in all these different foreigners who have a foreign culture. And listen, that culture is completely foreign to a black South African. That's number one. Let's talk about the biggest issue that I have with this. Arab nations. There is so many prosperous Arab nations and nobody wants them. Egypt don't want them. Jordan don't want them. Qatar don't want them. Saudi Arabia don't want them. Iran don't want them. Oman doesn't want them. The UAE don't want them. Nobody wants the Palestinians. Why? That's your people. They're Palestinian Arab people. Why aren't you taking your people in? That should be the biggest question. Why aren't you taking them? You sat there and watched all that stuff going on in Palestine and you did not take these people in? None of you offered. Matter of fact, when they was trying to go to Egypt as refugees, the Egyptians over there, we're talking about the Arab ones, they blocked the Palestinians from coming into Egypt. So that's the biggest question that we want to know is why is it that these Arab nations won't take in Palestinian people? But as a black South African should be highly upset. Now, let me holler at Operation Dudula here for a minute. Now, Operation Dudula, you should have been at the airport quicker than anybody else. You running around South Africa, grabbing up Nigerians, you're grabbing Somalis, you're grabbing Ethiopians, you're grabbing Zimbabweans. You're trying to stop them from going into hospitals, but you're not at the airport when they're bringing in illegal foreigners, because these people are illegal. They have no South African papers. They have no visa. They have nothing. And yet they're coming into your country right now, Operation Dudula, illegally. Where are you at? Where are you at? Well, why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you screaming? Why weren't you at the airport to block, like you like to do to other brothers and sisters that go to the hospital? Why weren't you there to block them from leaving the tarmac and tell them get back on that plane and go back to your homeland? Why? I guess, hold on. I forgot. You only do that to other Africans. You don't do that to them white folk. You don't do it to the illegal East Indians. You won't do it to the illegal Chinese in South Africa. And I guess you definitely won't do this to the illegal Palestinians. But when it comes to somebody that has an African lineage, you're right there in their face. You big and bad. See, Operation Dudula, I would respect you a lot more if you was on it for everybody. If you gave everybody that smoke. Now I'm saying, okay, I get it. But you don't give that smoke to everybody. You only give it to people of African descent. And that's what I do not respect about Operation Dudula. And I'm telling you this, Operation Dudula, this is coming from me. You can, the young lady that runs Operation Dudula, you can come on here. I'd love to interview you because I have a lot of questions. Because what I see from y'all is a bunch of bootlicking and samboing. That's what I see. You won't go to Cape Town and run them people out of Cape Town that's there illegally. There's so many illegal Europeans in Cape Town. And how they become illegal, they overstay their visa. That's illegal. But yet you're not doing nothing over there in Cape Town. Now, to my brothers and sisters in Johannesburg and definitely that's where they're going to be at, y'all having an issue. If y'all let this go down and y'all don't check your president and the ANC with all this stuff, you're going to have a big problem. They're going to keep dumping people in your homeland. And that is dangerous.
Yesterday we had a plane of 160, we're carrying 160 Palestinians landing at OR Tambo. And these are people from Gaza who somehow mysteriously were put on a plane that passed by Nairobi and came here. And I got to hear about it from my Minister of Home Affairs, wanting to know what do we do now. And I said, we cannot turn them back. Even though they do not have the necessary documents and papers, these are people from a strife-torn, a war-torn country. And out of compassion, out of empathy, we must receive them and be able to deal with the situation that they are facing. And it does seem like they were being, flushed out. We will get the details later, but from a humanitarian point of view, we could not return them from whence they have come, and we had to accept them, and they are now here, and we are going to be processing everything about them and then deciding.
The United States would never allow a plane load of people just come land here and they don't know nothing about it. They would never allow that to happen. No nation would allow that. So why is your president letting them in? No. I'm like, if I had to be the president, I'm like, well, first of all, why isn't we monitoring our airspace? That's what I want to know. Number two, you're not staying here. You going back to your homeland. Hey, whatever, you go back. Take them back to where you got them from. They're not staying here. We got laws in this country. And that's not asylum claims. No, there's a process to do asylum. You just don't show up in somebody's country and do whatever the hell you want. No, that don't work that way. And South Africa shows they don't respect you. That's what that means. They have zero respect for you. And the problem is you allow people not to respect you. Because let me tell you about that. And I know that about life. People will respect you if you make them respect you. And people will disrespect you if you allow them to. People treat you the way you show them they can treat you. Period. And this shows weakness on the part of the president of South Africa. This is complete weakness. This just shows that you have no sense of national security for the people. And with the 8 million South Africans who's unemployed, that's a slap in the face. Because you letting all these, and listen, y'all know how I am about men. I do not like seeing a bunch of men show up anywhere. Why I don't like a bunch of men showing up anywhere? Because men need something to do. You have a bunch of men roaming around, they're going to get into crime. Men is supposed to be producers, not laying around. Either they're going to produce something good or they're going to produce something bad. But men are wired to produce something. So I'd rather them produce something good, put they behind to work somewhere. So if you can't put 8 million South Africans to work, then for sure you can't put these 160 that just showed up to work. You understand? Men have a propensity to violence. And then they come from a culture that Hamas and all that stuff go on. No, you couldn't be here. Go deal with your issue in your homeland. Go, listen, you got all your Arab brethren. Go over there. Go holler at the king of Jordan. Go holler at him. Hey, Dubai is nice. Go holler at them in Dubai. That's what I would say. You're not staying here. I got enough problems in South Africa. I don't need no more. But South Africans, then shout out to South Africa. Y'all definitely the number one African country that watch this platform. So shout out to South Africa. But let me know what y'all think about this. I think this is a national security problem, big time. And y'all don't need nobody dumping nobody on y'all. Y'all got enough issues going on in the nation.